All right, thank you, Chairman. Well, first off, congratulations to each of you. It's a great opportunity to be an ambassador, and you'll have an opportunity of a lifetime to really have an impact on relationships with each of these countries. So let me start with Mr. Popolo. We have a strong relationship with the Netherlands. It's nice to see the government is committed to the 2% threshold for defense spending. It has taken a long time, and if I was just in Finland, Denmark, and Estonia, and they're spending significantly more. If you listen to what NATO's needs are, when you go over there, they are absolutely convinced that Putin will invade as soon as or within a reasonable period of time after the Ukraine war is over. So what are you going to do to get them to step up and be a better NATO partner?
Thank you, Senator Scott. As you noted, they're currently a little above 2%. They're a founding NATO partner, part of the F-35 program, so I feel like we're aligned. However, President Trump has made clear that we have to share the burden more equitably in the EU, and frankly, Russia is primarily a European problem. So I'm going to be pushing on behalf of the President and Secretary Rubio to see what we can do to get them closer to the 5% that, as I think you know, is what he has requested. There is going to need to be forces in Ukraine after. I believe President Trump will be successful in negotiating a peace deal. There has to be a conversation about how that's going to be supported. The threat of China continues to grow, and so the Europeans and the Dutch also, they need to step up.
It seems to me that the world is dividing up between the bad guys, Communist China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and a few others, and then the democracies. And it seems to me we have to align our economic interests. And so how are you going to help the Netherlands get better at aligning their economic interests with ours, where both countries have the opportunity for their workers to be able to sell products and services into each other's country, and we stop buying from the people that want to demolish our way of life?
Excellent. Thank you, Senator. We are blessed to run a trade surplus with the Netherlands today, although a lot of that does come into Rotterdam and then go out to other countries in Europe. I'm certainly going to be wearing the hat of the U.S. LNG producers to see if we can sell more. Generally speaking, I would love to be a representative for the U.S. business community that would like to come over and expand our relationship. They're currently supporting over 1 million U.S. jobs. And I think generally speaking, they have been really good partners where there have been issues around national security or export controls that we've been able to work together. But clearly, I'm going to be trying to build that relationship. We share an existential threat with China, and there's no reason we shouldn't be tighter together in opposition to what they're doing.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Walsh, historically, we have had a very strong relationship with Ireland, and I hope that continues. However, several members of the Irish government have made inflammatory, one-sided statements blaming Israel for the conflict in the Middle East, while ignoring terrorism by Hamas and Hezbollah. How are you going to be able to push back against this rhetoric and hold them accountable for disparaging a U.S. ally?
Thank you for the question, Senator. It is a really important topic and something I look forward to actually getting a lot more information on in the future. But first, I'd like to say that Ireland did at least condemn the October 7th attack. So that was a good start. And President Trump has made it very clear that Israel is an ally, right? And I fully on board with that. And any anti-Semitism throughout the whole world will not be tolerated. And I agree with that also. And I would love to meet with you or anyone else in the committee to actually talk about that further. But it's certainly on my mind and something that I'm looking forward to discussing more and just having open conversation with them to talk it through and so they understand what our role is in that.
Thank you. Ms. Campos, the Dominican Republic has had some issues because of the unrest in Haiti. What are your plans to be able to address the refugee crisis that the Dominican Republic is dealing with and trying to make sure the Dominican Republic is part of the solution with regard to Haiti?
Thank you. Thank you for that question, Senator. As I mentioned earlier to Senator Kaine, who asked a similar question, I'm not able right now to get ahead of what the administration wants to do in terms of Haiti, but I do commit to working very closely with our embassy in Port-au-Prince, with the administration, with you and your staffs here at this committee to try to find solutions to stabilize Haiti, because you're right, the attendant effects of the instability on Dominican Republic and on, in particular, your state of Florida, sir, are serious. So I will be working hard with my colleagues, as I said, in Port-au-Prince, to come up with some solutions there.
All right. Well, thank each of you, Mr. Kushner. Good luck with France. I don't see them as the perfect ally. They don't seem to always cooperate with us to make sure countries like Iran are held accountable. But I know you'll work your butt off trying to make sure they do the right thing. But congratulations to each of you.